Hey, it's Joy, and today we're watching A Murder at the End of the World, Season 1, Chapter 5, Crypt. Very excited for another episode. I need answers. I need answers. Keep coming. They started coming. I need more. Well, let's go.
What did you just do?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like there's a little piece of him still around.
You have a serious concussion.
You really should be lying down.
Eva, the more secrets you keep, the more blood's on your hands.
Mm-hmm. She wasn't expecting that.
Was from that safe. Darby, please, brain swelling is not something to mess around with.
It really
You're
isn't.
on the other side of wherever this elevator. I'm not worried about a concussion. I'm worried about whether I'll survive the night. And you should be too.
Darby!
You're not. She's not wrong, but she also really needs to lie down. Interesting. Little family haven. Safely under the ground.
And that Bill made some claim to his paternity, so you killed him.
Phew.
Or got Todd to do it for
I get why she thinks that.
And the Rohan,
If he didn't know, that's pretty shocking. But I don't think she's right here. There's more at play.
They could be working for somebody else, a foreign government, perhaps. Look, it's highly likely.
He
that
seems
because of
like
someone
he's
close to
being
me.
honest now, but it took him this long to be honest. That how can you fully trust any of it, or trust it
where
at
were
all?
you?
And he is my son. In every way.
I mean, I agree. You've been the one that raised him, but my question is: did Bill know? Did Lee know? I suppose if she slept with Bill once and it was a bit rubbish, if that was true, who knows? Maybe she didn't. She assumed because of the law of averages it would be his son, but obviously he knew the truth. But if they did both know whose son it was, and they didn't tell Bill, that is wrong.
This is sabotage. I'm being set up.
You're afraid.
If that's what you think, then come clean to Darby. She'll help.
Are you saying we should work together?
Who here is
I mean,
gonna
it's
open
not the
door if
worst
she knock on it
idea.
and start asking questions? No one.
Because obviously she'll keep in mind that he's still a suspect.
We do, except for a few minutes at 11:59 when the system does an auto backup. The exact
The
time
killer
the
knew
killer
it.
chose to strike.
So the killer knew about the system.
So they're an inside way home. That's weird.
Standing in the hall isn't a crime.
No, but David was in the hallway when Eva let me out of Bill's room, and that was 12:15. So what was David doing in the hall for the 10 minutes?
Yes, he's up to
when Sean
something.
was trying to revive Bill.
To ask you a few questions.
I'm still not 100% that we can trust Andy, but we have to at this point work with him.
Like you can walk if you have to.
Not very far. And not for very long.
Okay. Why was that important?
Did anyone leave the table during that time?
The table, for sure, but not the room. Except maybe Lee once.
Okay.
I had a bit to residents of our smart city safe. It looks for patterns in mental health records, criminal records, cell phone data, to create profiles that
Seems a little
anticipate
invasive.
criminal behavior. Clearly something like that could have been useful here. What did you
But
say?
if you're... It's like Minority Report. That person's going to commit a crime. Do you then, like, just stop them and give them help? Or do you arrest them?
At 11:07, there was an incoming call to David.
Who from?
I think Ray's
Call
the
came
killer.
From William Farrer's room.
Bill called David.
Andy, I think you should take this one. It's the Wall Street Journal.
I think this man
They know
did it.
Rowan's dead.
He was
They know
in
we're stuck here.
the hall.
They're on the same.
I cannot trust a single fucking person!
He really is acting like a medieval king, a feudal king. You know, the hotel manager was in the hallway because she bumped into him on her way to Bill. He wasn't, like, in the hallway to Bill's room, but he was around. We should talk to this man. He may have seen something or done something.
And you didn't notice anything strange?
Lee could be the killer. Everyone could be the killer.
I told Andy point blank, and I should have come to you first.
What did you...
Does she know?
Darby, tell me what himself. He's sterile.
Things have been said. Yeah. It's a murder investigation, it's not always pretty. You should be lying down, you have a concussion. Why do you have a black hair wig? Is she preparing to flee? Or is she a spy?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I looked at your stuff.
I've kept so many of them.
You have?
I think we should talk.
Did you just sneak off and question my wife?
No.
Yes, this is very scary.
Well, yeah,
She is grieving.
This is so weird.
I'd
From
never
one,
stop if it wasn't for my wife.
I've been wondering if Lee was more suspicious than she seemed, but this is scary. Why do you have all that stuff?
Look, I don't know what's going on here,
Why are you
was
suddenly seeming
responsible.
like open and trustworthy?
but I understand revenge. My loyalty is to this family.
Okay, that was both threatening and like the most human that man has seemed. I don't think this is the best thing for your head. But I also get why you don't really want to be vulnerable right now. And sleeping is vulnerable.
David, please.
Did David just get murdered or did he hang up? I'm expecting everybody to get murdered here, so... Lie down, please. It's the last thing I really want her to do in this lot of ways because this place is fucking terrifying, but at the same time, lie down, please.
Yeah, sounds great. Thanks, man. Can you just leave him outside the door?
Was there someone else there for a second? Like...
got Muna rice cakes that are,
I try and pause when I see it to see if I'm making this up. There. That almost looks like the side of someone's sleeve or something. But it could just be a trick of the light, but like...
Yeah.
I think there's someone waiting just out of view. Holy fucking shit.
don't force my hand.
Fucking hell. I still think there was someone outside, but they were also inside. Jesus Christ. Lee is a suspect, David is a suspect, but I also think everyone is a suspect still. Doesn't help.
And he said it's likely that Ebal isn't the Jane Doe you're looking for, but the original owner.
Okay.
I mean, that's major.
Yeah, but you want to tell him about, you know, you were talking about your relationship and feelings and you're now so excited about the case. That was what drove him away in a lot of ways, as well as being scared.
It was not in our control.
Mm-hmm.
You are not to blame for Bill.
You really are.
Oh, what a long way to go.
What a way to go. Yeah, I did hear that. Oh, I heard what a way to come, but what a way to go makes more sense.
Don't give up, Darby. People you can trust.
Please don't die. She sounds like she's given up.
The same Lee who wrote that manifesto, you know? It just doesn't...
Yes. It sounded like she was giving up. Or felt the end was near. Did somebody else hack the medical equipment, or was she just...
In her backpack. Under another name.
He could be abused of control and you just spot an escape plan.
Suffering from a brain injury and no longer making sense.
Well, the minute he hears something he doesn't like, he's like, God,
That's
stupid.
what you wanted, isn't it?
I feel like this might not be a hotel at all.
Yeah.
Apocalypse timeshare for millionaires. Buy a cabin aboard Noah's Ark and ride out the climate crisis the super rich created. May. Why is it easier for people like Andy to dream all this up than it is for them to imagine an end to capitalism?
Because they benefit from capitalism.
And we cannot have fire in the courtyard
Fuck
right now.
off, Marius.
Marius did it. He was still in the hallway and she hasn't remembered that she saw him. And I think he was coming down some stairs or something, so I don't know that he's actually suspicious, but...
Are you saying we should...
Yes.
We should go to the house to see if Patricia Bell never left?
Oh, she is.
That's why I like...
Yeah. She's not got the healthiest process.
Are you high?
And he's
Come sit with me a sec.
struggling with his sobriety.
Wait, you just don't care anymore?
No, of course I care. I'm just
He's
worried
worried
about
about
you. I mean,
you.
since Utah, you're not here anymore. You're just on the case the whole time. It's alarming. His house to what? To save them? I mean, you can't. They're dead.
Yeah. She doesn't have the healthiest approach.
Not easy, but it just feels like we're picking up breadcrumbs deliberately left to be found. I have a feeling this guy is dying for company. He wants to be seen so bad, and I don't want to see him.
So you're gonna go home because you're chicken shit. Even though
I can see why he left.
Destroys women.
She's
Even
not
though we
doing
let
well.
someone die unnamed and fucking mass grave and everyone's okay with it, but I'm not. I don't want to be okay.
Yeah, you're brilliant and you're solving this case, but you're not well right now. You're not being healthy. And it's because you care so much.
I feel like I'd have to die for you to love me.
Fuck. To get 100% of her attention, probably. If she finds healthy ways of dealing with it, it's okay to have passions.
Darby!
Someone go after her, please. I'm stressed. I wouldn't want to be alone in this room.
I don't think I want to be awake anymore. Everything hurts.
I know.
Why does everything...
Morse code? But what Morse code? And who? The killer luring her somewhere? Or someone that has information and wants to talk to her? But who knows she was even asking about that? David.
2200.
David knows, Andy knows. Ray knows because Ray was listening, so I suppose anybody that hacks Ray could know. Lee could have been listening. The security dude was sitting in the room as well, wasn't he? So I don't like this, it's creepy and dark. It does look warm in there. Someone will like hold her head under and drown her. I'm just convinced the murderer is coming. I'm convinced it's not someone with helpful information. It is the murderer who has decided they must murder. I'm very stressed that the murderer is gonna come and murder her. Or there'll just be a body in the water. Fuck. Yeah, you did make it really easy for the murderer to murder you, didn't you? You really made it easy for the murderer. Okay, the silhouette kind of looked like someone in like blue trousers and a white shirt. Is that like one of the staff? Is that David? Is it Andy? Could be Lee. Like it kind of looks like someone with a tie, but that could be anything. And it's probably a stand-in anyway, not the real killer. How is Darby getting out of this one? Okay, so you know, that was a very ominous ending. I was just going to the pool and like very stressed. Like meeting anybody in the middle of the night is creepy enough. When you know there's a killer on the loose, yes, it could be somebody who wants to give you information and doesn't want to be seen talking to you. So in a way, she kind of had to go. But it's probably also the killer, and you should stay on guard at all times. But then she did also have a head injury that she was not taking proper care of all episode. But yeah, jumping in the water and then going under and staying under really gave the killer must have been like, well, that's easy. Like, I thought I was gonna shove her in and hold her down, but press that button and I'm done. Like, that was the killer's easiest kill. Stressed. I'm sad Sean died. I think the flashbacks have definitely shown the way she gets lost in the case to the detriment of herself and everything around her. And in a way, I don't fault Bill for not wanting to be around that energy. I don't think it's necessarily the healthiest energy to be around. And if I don't know, I mean, he was a recovering addict now. I assume he was a recovering addict then, or at least dealing with issues of addiction then. I could see why it wouldn't necessarily be the most healthy environment for him to be in for his own sake as well. So I don't necessarily fault him for leaving, especially if they then almost die at the serial killer house. But I do feel like he shouldn't have just left in the middle of the night with no like goodbye. He should have, gone home with her. I think he had their only car. Like, he should have taken her home and been like, this, I care about you, but this isn't healthy. Like, he should have faced her and not just run off. But you can kind of see that it wasn't as out of the blue as we maybe would have thought it was in the first episode, which again, the first episode didn't tell us the whole story. And you can see how Darby just utterly loses herself in the case, and that kind of passion, it's what makes her so brilliant. It's what helps her to be the wonderful person she is, but it costs her relationships, but it also costs her own well-being and her own happiness, health. It's dangerous. I mean, you've seen that at times in this situation. And then in this case, you could say, oh, it's because Bill, she loved him, she cared about him, and she doesn't know these women. I think she does care about them, but they aren't people that she knew prior to their deaths. It's admirable the way she wants to get justice for them. It's brilliant the way she's able to do it. But it's kind of like, until she asks for help, she's not going to accept help and advice from somebody like Bill offering. You need to let her realize that, yeah, there's nothing wrong with wanting justice for these women. There's nothing wrong with giving it your all, but the way you're giving your all is not healthy. And it makes you wonder about how she's been living in the years since. We know that she's living on her own in like a warehousey place. She does like looks into missing people and does lots of really wonderful work, but she also takes things when she needs some help staying awake. She's got the pills right there and she takes them. Or at the very least, maybe that was a coping mechanism she resorted back to, but what kind of healthy coping mechanisms and what her process is like, process is so American, what her process is like and how she deals with things. The different other characters, I enjoyed their little courtyard fire moment. It made me feel like none of them were going to be the killer, but you got immediately, you're like, but you could be. Anyone could be the killer. I feel like the silhouette kind of looked like a man to me, but again, it was a faint silhouette through like water and it wasn't clear. Lee is definitely suspicious. Now, Lee, it is interesting because it's kind of something that Darby was thinking before Sean died, was the Lee we've met does not seem to fit the Lee who wrote some epic hacking manifesto. She's a very different person. And I feel like she was very quick to be like, hey, Darby, let's investigate this quietly and secretly. And then the way she was when she came out of that bathroom was terrifying. And I know that was kind of in context of she just found the passport and the wig and everything, and so it was quite scary. But it was very out of nowhere 180 turn, like, we're in a horror film now. But that could just be making us kind of suspicious of Lee. Maybe she has the fake passport and stuff as like a go bag, so that if her husband is controlling and toxic, she can grab her kid and run. She didn't seem to know Bill was the father of Zuma necessarily. If she was telling the truth and they had one not that satisfying time together, and then she ended up going back to her husband, and because they were off when she was with Bill, I think, and then they got pregnant, she would have just assumed, well, yeah, I was with him once, I was with him 100 times, like, why would it be Bill's? And the fact that her husband is sterile would mean that it was, okay, yeah, so it wasn't his. And realizing that he knew the whole time would be a lot for her to process. Like, I do feel like that was a very genuine reaction, but she could also have just gone to the bathroom and made being sick noises to try and make Darby feel like it was a genuine reaction. Lee, there is something off there. There's also something off in general that we're investigating. We know a little bit more about the nature of the retreat now, but like it being the bunker for the super rich in times of climate change, despite the fact he wants to stop climate change, it's very intense, and you don't know who's coming and who's going. Like at the beginning of the episode, Andy was like, hey, I'm going to be so helpful, and like I was saying, we can't trust this man, but we need to accept the help while we've got it. And then he turned around and was like, nope, can't trust you, the minute she threw suspicion onto Lee. I have no idea who is behind this. I have no idea what they're covering up, or what Bill was looking into, or what's going on, what Bill was talking to David on the phone for. Now, David hung up that phone very quickly and then we didn't see him again. So David could be dead. Very interesting. I love this show. I love the way they weave the mystery. Darby is a fantastic main character. Even if this whole episode I wanted her to lie down and rest her head because she had a severe concussion. But then I was also like, she's in a murder hotel in the middle of nowhere. I don't know that I would want to lie down and rest either. It was very stressful. This is a very good show. Reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon 2 weeks in advance, the edited version 1 week in advance. And thank you so much for watching.